It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charles. This is Hero Wars Central. And if this is the first time you're joining me, I do videos about Hero Wars for Facebook and Hero Wars for the mobile version, Android and iOS. And today I wanted to talk about my favorite team. And this is going to be a kind of a little thought process on why. Basically, why. I don't want to go too in depth on any individual hero, but I did want to. I get asked this question a lot, and I just kind of wanted to do a video to kind of talk about some of my reasoning. So obviously, I am 100% Team Bob here. Kark is he's a warrior. He's an amazing hitter. He provides his own armor penetration, which is a key aspect of any damage dealing hero in this game. Is that you need to have high penetration, either magic or armor, and Kark doesn't disappoint. He's got some great armor penetration. So what I use for my quote unquote default team is Astaroth, Kark, Nebula, Faceless, and then Martha. And I've got these guys pretty strong. I definitely have some room to grow them, but this is kind of my general purpose team. I use this team for the dungeons. I use this team for the tower. I use this team for defense in arena, and it does well. It's not the best team in every situation, but it does very well. But one of the main reasons why I like this team was, first, it's not a twins team, and whenever I first started playing, the twins was described to me as everywhere and the most frequently used team on the market or in the game, as it were. And I started my Bob team here looks a little different. And this is something that's a little bit more traditional to what most people see. And that's using Kai and Jorgen in there instead of Nebula and Faceless. And this team right here is very strong. You can see my Kai isn't quite as leveled up. I'm actually working on getting him to orange next. I just finished Jorgen. I'm gonna get him up there next. But whenever I'm going up against the twins team, this is the lineup that I use, and typically I win if if our power levels are comparable. And if I have trouble, then I'm sorry, I don't use Martha. I use Faceless. This is the team. This is the team that I use. So if I'm going up against the general purpose twins team, this is what I use, and I'll show some screenshots of what that looks like. I'll cut that in the video. And again, it's not gonna defeat every twins team, and twins being Kai and Lars and Krista, but it beats a good amount of them. So this is kind of my go-to for them, and this is how I started. But whenever I was researching the power that is Bob here, I came to realize the adaptability of this team. Now, initially, I thought that this was a very structured, hard to get team because it had specific pieces, but that's actually not the case. You don't need Astaroth to be a tank. You can use Cleaver if you've got him. Cool. You can use Galahad. I don't know that I would use Ziri, but you could use Ziri. But my point is the tank is interchangeable. And I like Astaroth a lot because of the aesthetic of Astaroth, but also because he resurrects, one of my team members when he goes down. I feel like he's a very strong tank, definitely top tier. But if you have another tank leveled up, Galahad or Cleaver, absolutely slots right in there. Okay, and then going back to that initial team that I had here, Martha and Nebula, I feel like Nebula is the best general purpose support character in the game. If you're going up against somebody that loves spending energy, such as Orion or Galahad, or maybe even Cleaver, you want to maybe use Jorgen in her place, right? I also feel like in some instances, you can put in Cornelius. I don't have him leveled up. I probably will level him up very shortly. And yeah, it's just a very adaptable slot. Faceless is interesting, and I came to the realization today that Faceless is one of the very few heroes in this team that I barely take out, no matter what lineup I use. Whether it's a pure damage dealing lineup with without a set healer. Whoops, what am I doing here? Yeah, without a set healer, just pure damage like this. If I'm going up against a high health / high healer defensive team in Arena, or if I'm going up against, your typical Twins team, or even another Kark team. He's often the guy that's always there. He's always in there. So that's pretty interesting. Speaking of other Kark teams, you could sub out Nebula for Anvari. Where's my Anvari? Here he is. You could sub out Nebula for Anvari here, and that would help against other Kark teams. You could also use Fox as well, and that's a nice little setup. And in this instance, I would actually probably drop out Faceless for Nebula. So I'm using Fox or Anvari for anti-Kark teams. But yeah, for the most part, I leave Faceless in there. And again, the healer doesn't matter. You can use Dorian. I've used Thea a couple of times. I think Thea is good because this team is pretty self-supporting, and Thea isn't a pure healer like Martha is, even though Martha's technically support. I think it's an interesting another slot that you can kind of rotate in and out. And again, as it looks, let's what if I did this setup, or if I did this setup, I don't need a healer on this team. And often the case whenever I go up against like I said earlier, an Arena team that is using 3 healers and 2 tanks, this is what I go with. Actually, I probably sub out him for Galahad. I need to get the Galahad up there. Well, I guess I'm leveling up Cleaver for that kind of thing now. All right, so kind of let's go back to my initial setup here, back to my basic here. So here's another interesting thing. Another huge reason later on why I feel as this is one of the best team lineups in the game. If I go up against an Anvari team that is kitted out to stop a Kark team, just a solid anti-movement, anti-physical attack team, you know what I do? I take out Bob. Sorry, Bob. I love you. But in comes Satori. Okay? If I'm up against Anvari, Satori will chew them up, right? Or if there's a Jorgen that's just tanking for the Twins, or whatever lineup whatever it might be, Satori does great work, and in those instances, it's better to pull him out for Satori. So you can kind of see why I like this lineup. It's very adaptable. You can swap the tank, you can swap the damage dealer out, you can swap the supports out, you can swap the control/backup damage, and you can swap the healer. And then at what point does this just become another team altogether? But to me, the way that I have this structured here, these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-ish heroes, and I'm slowly building up these 3 to catch up with these other guys. Slowly building up these, and I'm going to build up Dorian as well to have just a healer for my second line in Grand Arena. Using these heroes, I'm very effective. I'm very effective up against any team that I come up against. Of course, once I hit level cap at 130 and, or 120 if you're on mobile. And, it's more about coming up with specific compositions that counter other compositions. I think that, that's when you need to start branching out into other heroes. But to me, this is the best setup in the game. Now, the Twins are similar. The Twins are very similar in that, you can keep the 2 of them together, Lars and Krista. You can keep the 2 of them together. I'll go ahead and just plug these guys in. Let's see, where is my Lars? Here you go. And you notice that I haven't touched Anvari at all. I am anti-Anvari. I'm hardcore Team Bob, #Team Bob. Bob is best. My name is Bob. But you can see, with the Lars and Krista team, you can swap out healers and support and tank. In fact, you can have Krista tank for you. So there's some adaptability with that as well. But a lot of people ask me who the best healer is with Kark, or who the best damage dealer is Kark. Do I need Faceless? Do I need Kai? And it really depends. But I kind of wanted to do this video just to talk about my build. I love this setup so much, and to me, the addition of Anvari isn't enough for me to overcome this lineup and the changes that I can make to the lineup. But let me know what you guys think. How do you build your Kark team? Am I close to what you got going on here? Am I, is there something different that I'm missing that maybe I need to level up maybe I need to level up my Phobos or something. I don't know. But to me, this is one of the best team compositions in the game, if not the best. And one thing I did forget to mention that was brought to my attention, and I mentioned this in my Helios video earlier in November, is adding in Helios as a nice anti-Bob team as well, which I haven't gotten around to leveling up Helios yet. I'm I'm spending a lot of resources still on, my top 5 and, like I said, these next 3 in line here. So, yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this, this high level overview of my Bob team and, how I go about deciding what heroes I use in what situation. And if you have any questions about that, please leave them in the comments below. Of course, you find me on the Discord. Discord link is in the description below. You find me on Facebook, find me on, Instagram. Just, if you have a question, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. I'm in front of a computer all day. I'm happy to answer your question. And if I don't know the answer, somebody on the Discord does. So with all that being said, if you like this video, please take 2 seconds and click that like button. If I see you comment and I can't quite get to it, I try to get to every comment, but sometimes I miss them. There's just so many. But please be patient with me. But until next time, this is Charles with Hero Wars Central, and this is my Bob team.